I want you to try something for me. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine that the life you're living right now, your memories, your history, even the layout of your apartment, isn't the final product. Imagine it's just a rough draft. And somewhere, in some smoky office that doesn't officially exist, a tired bureaucrat is holding a red pencil, hovering over a page, deciding if this moment makes the cut.
It is a terrifying thought, isn't it?
Completely.
The idea that reality isn't fixed, but, curated.
Yeah.
That the past isn't set in stone.
Right. It's just soft clay in someone else's hands.
Exactly.
And that is the central, absolutely mind-bending premise of the text we are unpacking today. We're looking at The Ministry of Final Edits by Max and Claude.
Right.
Now, this is a fascinating artifact. It purports to be a lost fictional manuscript of the legendary Mikhail Bulgakov.
And if you know Bulgakov, you know that means we're in for some heavy satire mixed with the supernatural.
Oh, absolutely. The master of blending the crushing weight of Soviet bureaucracy with the absolute absurdity of magic.
Exactly. Think The Master and Margarita. This text just takes that signature style and pushes it to a metaphysical extreme. It presents a world where the censorship machine doesn't just cut paragraphs out of books.
Right.
It edits reality itself to make the present moment coherent.
It's like a spy thriller metaphilosophy textbook, and they had a very, very paranoid baby. So, let's set the scene. We're in Moscow. It's 1938.
The height of the purges. Everyone is looking over their shoulder.
And our protagonist is Sergei Vladimirovich Karpov. Who is this guy?
Karpov is a literary editor, which makes him the perfect lens for this story. He's a small, nervous man living in a small, nervous time.
Mm-hmm.
He spends his days eating cabbage soup and, trying desperately not to be noticed. But here's the key. He understands the power of the red pencil.
Because he uses it.
He uses it. He spent his career making dangerous manuscripts safe. He knows the wrong word can get you killed, so he deletes them.
So he's part of the machine, a very small, terrified cog in it.
Precisely. But his life turns upside down when he's assigned to work in Archive 7.
And I love this detail. Archive 7 is a room that significantly doesn't appear on any building schematic.
That's the first clue, right? He stepped out of the published world and into the editorial office of the universe.
And in this archive, he finds a manuscript.
Yep.
But it's not just any book.
No. This thing is dated 1938, the current year, but it describes events happening in the 1950s.
So he's found a prophecy, like a Nostradamus situation.
Not exactly. See, a prophecy implies something that will happen. This manuscript describes a future that has already been written, but hasn't been published into reality yet.
Oh, wow.
It mentions the death of leaders who are currently alive, wars that haven't started.
Yeah.
Karpov realizes he isn't holding a prediction. He's holding the script.
That is such a crucial distinction. He's realized history is being written in advance.
Yes.
And naturally, holding the script to reality attracts some very dangerous attention, which introduces our antagonists.
And what I found compelling here is that it's not good guy versus bad guy.
No, it's more like bad guy versus different kind of bad guy.
It's a conflict of bureaucracies. On one side, you have Viktor Semyonovich Blank. He represents the Ministry of Final Edits.
Blank. And he's described as having this incredibly forgettable face, right?
Elegant, polite, utterly nondescript. If you looked away, you'd forget he was there. His goal is publication.
Which, to an editor like Karpov, usually sounds like a good thing. Publication's the goal.
But in this context, it's insidious. For the ministry, publishing means integrating it into reality. They want to edit the world so the text becomes true, but harmless.
Smooth out the contradictions.
Exactly. So the population accepts the narrative without question. Blank has this chilling catchphrase, impossible. Most true things are. He wants a seamless lie.
But then you had the other guy, Sokolov. And he is, well, he's terrifying.
Right. Dmitry Andreevich Sokolov from the Department of Corrections. Gray eyes, severe suit, no humor whatsoever.
And he doesn't want to publish it.
No, he wants to destroy it. He represents total erasure.
But why? Aren't they on the same side working for the state?
It's a difference in method. Sokolov believes that the moment you know the mechanism of control, once you see the red pencil, the whole system becomes unstable.
He thinks editing is too messy.
Too messy. He prefers the delete key. Just burn it all down to prevent chaos. So Karpov is stuck between these two forces. One wants to fake reality, the other wants to delete it.
And this leads to him being summoned to a meeting at the Hotel Metropole, room 317. This scene. This is where the surrealism really kicks into high gear.
Oh, yeah. The Metropole here is like a transitional space. It's a glitch in the system. The text describes corridors that change numbers. You go from 317 to 320, skipping rooms that have been edited out.
And the elevator goes to phantom floors. I want to pause on that, phantom floors. What does that even mean in the story?
Imagine a floor of a hotel that was deemed unnecessary. Maybe a meeting happened there that they decided never happened, so they just cut the floor out of the narrative.
But the elevator still passes through the empty space.
Yes. It's a physical manifestation of a memory hole. You feel that drop in your stomach as you pass through a place that just isn't there anymore.
That gives me goosebumps. So they're in room 317, and Karpov is given a choice. Blank basically introduces him to a future version of himself.
It's the temptation scene. Blank shows Karpov a version of himself that has been edited. This other Karpov is decisive, he stands up straight, he's happy.
It's a better version.
A much better version.
Mhm.
His wife loves him passionately. He sleeps soundly at night without fear.
It sounds perfect. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
It is perfect, and that's the trap. Blank says all you have to do is agree to edit this manuscript, make it safe, facilitate the lie, and you can be this man.
So the choice is be happy and fake or miserable and real.
Exactly. And before we get to his choice, we really need to understand what editing means here. It's not just white out on paper.
Right. They call it retconning in comic books, but this is for actual lives.
Yeah.
The text uses his father as the main example, and this part was just heartbreaking.
It is. In Karpov's memory, his rough draft memory, the real one, his dad died in 1941 of typhus. He remembers the smell of the ward, the doctor's face.
All the specific sensory details.
But the ministry decided his father became politically inconvenient earlier than that, so they edited him back to dying in 1939.
And the physical evidence changes.
The physical evidence changes. There's now a grave with the 1939 date carved in stone. The hospital records are different. But Karpov, he still has the memory of 1941.
It's gaslighting on a cosmic scale. You're standing at your father's grave, and the stone says one thing, but your heart says another.
It's a cognitive dissonance designed to drive you mad. There's another detail about a wedding ring moving from the right hand to the left because a wife was revised into a more westernized version.
The object just shifts on her finger.
To match the new narrative.
This brings us to a concept that I think is the most insightful part of the text, the remainders.
Yes, this is a mathematical metaphor.
Yeah.
If you divide reality, so you take a complex event and simplify it, sometimes it doesn't divide evenly.
Yeah.
There are leftovers.
Remainders. I love that term. It's so dehumanizing, but so accurate for this world.
And in the story, these are people who don't fit the new edit. There's a scene at Patriarch's Ponds where Karpov meets a woman smoking. She tells him she's a remainder.
A deleted character who refuses to leave the page.
Essentially. And there's an entire department for these glitches, the complaint department.
Run by a woman named Orlova. And this is just dark humor at its absolute finest.
It is. The complaint department isn't there to fix the error. It's there to manage the victims. You have people coming in who remember having 3 kids, but now reality says they only have 2.
Or they remember a village that is now a lake. What does Orlova tell them? Sorry for the inconvenience.
Basically, yes. She explains that you can't unscramble eggs. Her job is to help people accept their new edited state. She even tries to recruit Karpov. She hands him a red pencil and tells him that reality needs quality control. She argues that without the editors, life would be too chaotic, too painful. She frames censorship as a mercy.
Which is such a seductive argument. We removed your trauma so you can sleep. But the scariest tool isn't the pencil, it's the editorial pen that Sokolov carries.
The pen is the weapon of the Department of Corrections. It doesn't write on paper, it points at a person and edits them directly.
Deletes memories.
Deletes memories, changes personalities, or just removes them from existence. If the pencil changes the script, the pen erases the actor.
So Karpov is backed into a corner. He's got Blank offering him a happy, fake life, Sokolov threatening to erase him, and he's holding this manuscript. He has to decide.
And this is where the story pivots. Karpov is a meek man, but he's an editor. He understands text, and he realizes there's a third option.
Sabotage.
Sabotage.
He goes rogue. But how do you sabotage a manuscript that dictates reality?
Well, you can't just write the end. That's just another narrative beat. No, Karpov realizes the ministry relies on coherence. They need the story to make sense.
So he introduces chaos. He poisons the well.
He writes in quantum contradictions. He writes that a commission arrived on Tuesday and Wednesday simultaneously. He makes a character remember a mother who never existed.
He introduces logical fallacies that can't be resolved.
He makes the text unpublishable.
Exactly. If the text doesn't make sense, it can't be integrated. It causes a system error. He chooses chaos over control.
And the manuscript's reaction is visceral.
Yeah.
It catches fire on the desk. But, and this is the key image, it burns into a pile of ashes that cannot be swept away.
What do you mean cannot be swept away?
Physically, the ashes are stuck to the table. They have mass, they have weight, but they are immovable. You can blow on them, wipe them, but they stay put. A permanent stain.
That's such a powerful symbol. Even when you destroy the truth, the residue remains.
Precisely. It's the story saying that while lies can be smooth, the truth, even a destroyed truth, is stubborn. And speaking of stubborn and chaotic, Behemoth shows up.
You can't have a Bulgakov-adjacent story without a giant talking cat. It just wouldn't be right.
And he appears in Karpov's office right after the fire, walking on his hind legs, the whole classic image. He represents the chaos Karpov just unleashed.
What does he say?
He tells Karpov that the sabotage worked. It didn't stop the ministry, not forever, but it created a glitch. It inspired others.
So Karpov has won a small victory, but the war isn't over. And this is where his wife, Ludmila, becomes a major player.
Yes. She reads the sabotage text before it burns. And in this world, reading the truth, it acts like an inoculation.
She can see the edits.
Once she sees the red pencil marks, she can't unsee them. She starts noticing when the wallpaper changes color or when a friend disappears from a photo. She becomes awake.
So together they start a resistance, but not with guns, with paper.
They start copying a new manuscript, one written by a young Mikhail Bulgakov himself. They hide 19 copies across Moscow. It's an attempt to create backups of reality.
But the ministry isn't just going to let that happen. They come for the author. And this part is just so tragic. What happens to the Bulgakov character?
It is. You'd expect them to kill him, right? Make him a martyr. But the ministry knows martyrs are dangerous. Stories about them inspire people.
So they edit him instead.
They reboot him. They revise his life so thoroughly that he's released years later believing he was never a writer. He thinks he was just a translator of technical manuals.
He forgets his own genius.
He forgets the Master and Margarita.
That is the ultimate censorship. To delete the art from the artist's own mind. To make him boring.
It kills the spirit without touching the body. He walks around, he eats, but the spark is gone. He's been edited into conformity.
And then the story jumps to 1977. The Great Consolidation. That sounds ominous.
This is the ministry's endgame. The system is becoming unstable because of all these contradictions, the ashes on the table, the phantom floors. Reality is fraying. So they launch a massive edit to wipe the slate clean.
A factory reset.
A factory reset on reality. And this is where the margins, that underground space where the resistance lived, it all collapses. Karpov and Ludmila are caught in it. They're consolidated.
What happens to them?
It might be worse than death. They lose their memories of the resistance. They become that ordinary, quiet couple blank promise him they could be. They live out their lives, unaware they were ever heroes.
They just exist.
They drink tea, they watch TV, they grow old.
So the bad guys won. They got their smooth, coherent reality.
Well, yes and no. And this is why the ashes are so important. Even after the Great Consolidation, the ashes remain on the table in their apartment.
Or do they know what they are?
No. They look at this pile of black dust, they think maybe it's just soot, and this is the haunting part, they can't bring themselves to clean it up. Every time they go to wipe it away, they stop.
A phantom limb sensation.
Exactly. They feel the weight of the history they lost, even if they can't name it.
Which suggests you can edit the text of history, but you can't edit the fact of existence. Something always remains.
The remainder again. You can't divide it evenly. The math never quite works out for the totalitarians.
So the story jumps forward again. The Soviet Union collapses, 1991. And a grad student, Yelena Volkova, finds one of the hidden copies.
And this is the final irony. She publishes it in 1994. The resistance worked. The text survived. But how does the world receive it?
They think it's fiction.
They treat it as a brilliant satire, a metaphor. They give it awards, they teach it in classes, but no one realizes it's a documentary.
Which is the ministry's final victory, in a way. The truth is out there in plain sight, but it's been contextualized into safety. Oh, it's just a story.
Hidden in plain sight. If you call it fiction, you don't have to deal with the implications.
But the source gives us one last scene. The epilogue, 2024, present day.
A demolition crew is tearing down that old apartment building. The apartment is empty, people are long gone, but they find the table.
And the ashes.
Still there. And the workers, these are guys who just want to clear debris and go home. They refuse to sweep them up. They don't know why. They just sense this pile of dust has gravity.
It gives me chills. It's just a strange specific image. So Taking a step back, what does this all mean? We have reality editors, talking cats, indestructible ash. What's the core takeaway here?
I think the core message is about the value of the rough draft. The ministry, and by extension, any authoritarian system, wants a final, polished edit. They want coherence, happiness without the messy contradictions.
Like Karpov's temptation, be happy, just forget the difficult truth.
Exactly. And we all want that. To some degree, we want to edit out our mistakes, our traumas. But the story argues that the rough draft, the messy, painful, contradictory truth, is where humanity actually lives.
When you edit out the pain, you edit out the person.
Right. Karpov sabotaging the manuscript was him saying, I choose the mess. I choose the chaos because the chaos is real. A sanitized life isn't a life, it's a press release.
It makes you look at your own life differently. You know, we're all constantly editing our own stories. We tell anecdotes where we come off a little wittier than we actually were.
We do. We're all amateur editors in the industry of our own lives.
Yeah.
We want a consistent narrative. But this story suggests there's a danger in that. If you polish the story too much, you lose the truth of who you are.
You become a character, not a person. We become blank.
Precisely. And you lose your remainders, the parts of you that don't fit but make you unique.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's a question I want to leave you with. It's the choice blank offered Karpov, but for the real world.
If a man in a gray suit walked up to you today and offered to edit your life, to take away the grief, the failures, and leave you 10% happier but less true, would you take the deal?
And more importantly, if you had already taken that deal 5 years ago, would you even know?
That's the question that keeps me up at night.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Keep your eyes on the margins. We'll see you next time.